truly is the digital traffic log, one of the foundational pieces of being great in the digital sales environment, which is why we're bringing you a topic today and devoted entirely to that. So we're going to get to the digital traffic log, and we're actually going to have a live interactive version of that, an interactive workbook, if you will, to where you will be able to go in and plug in some of your numbers. At the end of today's session, if you followed along, you will have a working digital traffic log for your business with your own data in it. If you haven't followed along, you'll at least have a template that you can use going forward. So we're going to do that, but we're going to hit a couple topics first before we get there. And we're going to talk about traffic logs in general, right? We've got digital traffic logs now. We've always had in-store physical traffic logs. So why do we even need traffic logs? What's the difference between the two? So we hit that. We're also going to spend just a few minutes on the digital sales process itself. Right? It's different than the in-store sales process. We have different steps, and we have different KPIs that go with that. So we're going to look at that. And then we're going to work through a potential exercise. Again, this will be another digital interactive workbook that you'll be able to follow along to where we really see what are some of the improvements that dealers have been able to make as they've gone through process adoption and technology adoption. And we'll look at a current state and an ideal state. And you'll plug some of your own numbers. And let's see. Right? Let's quantify this potential that's there. And ideally, the next step would be how do we monetize that potential that's there. So once those are done, we'll go through the digital traffic log exercise itself, fill one out, see how it all works, see the functionality side of it, and then we'll look at what are the outputs? Like, what's the data of a traffic log, the digital traffic log tell us? What kind of insights can we glean from the data that's recorded and reported? So that's where we're going today. We will have a couple stops for Q&A along the way. Don't be afraid and be bashful to put them in the chat, and we'll hit them when we get there. So, all right. With that, let's get into this. So, Taylor, how about let the data lead you slide? All right. So we hit the intro. So right now, right, traffic logs in general. Right, I've got two different ones up there, but I think before we start to look in any kind of detail at either one of them. Data, right? We have to have data. We have to have objective data to make good decisions as leaders in our businesses. Okay? Subjective information is opinion-based, and it does not do a lot of good in terms of developing action plans and moving things forward, because everybody can have a difference of opinion. Very few people can have different opinions on data because it's factual. You can interpret it different ways, but it is objective, factual data. So we liken data to x-rays, right? Give me a good x-ray, I can give you a great diagnosis, and I can set you up on the course of what do we do to fix what ails you that we found in the x-ray, right? So good x-ray, good diagnosis, good prognosis for recovery. And bad x-ray, the x-ray, bad diagnosis, not quite sure. And I think traffic log information is the same. I want accurate, timely, objective data so that we can make informed decisions and move the business forward. Right? Because at the end of this whole thing, the entire reason that LeadHelm exists, the entire reason we do what we do is we want to help dealers sell more vehicles and do it in a way that delivers an exceptional customer experience. Right? We don't want to do one without the other, and we need to do both. So this helps a piece of that. So objective data. The other thing I believe, we've believed in the 25 some years that we've been in the motorcycle business, owning stores, operating stores, running BDCs, internet sales departments, general managers, sales managers. Everybody on this crew has worked in operations dealerships for a long time. Traffic logs are the most important tool that you have, period. And I would argue with anybody about that. And it's because they track opportunity and they allow us to make improvements. Opportunity, right? We spend money. You spend money to drive traffic to your front door, to drive traffic to your phone, and to drive traffic to your website. The traffic log helps us understand what's happening with that traffic. Okay. I need to know a return on investment on that spend. What's happening with my phone calls? What's happening with my internet? What's happening with my floor traffic? So I have to have that stuff. Particularly now, we're seeing lead cost. Right, cost per lead is going up because it's a more competitive landscape when you look at AdWords and budgets and so forth. So every lead is more valuable today than it's ever been. So we have that. We have opportunity, and we have improvement, coaching, insights, training, development, staffing, those things. We'll get into a bit more of that as we go along. The other thing we have is we have two different things now, right? You can see on the left, right, traffic log. That's the physical floor traffic log that most of us used to have. And we get certain KPIs from there, right? The traffic log matches the steps of your sales process. So if you have a 6-step or 8-step or a 10-step sales process or the 9-step process where you go somewhere from saying hello to a customer in a greeting and actually all the way through a discovery phase and a tour of the dealership and sitting somebody on a product or in a product and doing some feature advantage benefit, doing some presentation, doing a test drive, so forth, all the way through presenting numbers and negotiating, finance, and closing the deal and delivery, all that stuff. Your traffic log should match exactly the steps of your sale. You have a 6-step process, you should have 6 steps in your traffic log. 8 steps in traffic log. And you can see on there, right? Door swings, greets, sit down, write up, transaction, sales. That's what we do. On the digital side, we have different steps. And to me, if we have different steps, that means we need a different log because the sales process is different digitally. We're going to look at that in a minute. Here, right, KPIs are different. Okay, I've got website traffic, I've got leads, I've got response times, appointments set, appointments kept, deliveries in the store, so forth. Again, different KPIs, different process needs a different traffic log. I want to be able to look at both of these things independently, right? Because the insights, we're going to use the insights differently with each data set. And then I'm going to want to pull them together collectively and do a daily review of what's happening. Okay. So 2 logs, 2 different systems, 2 different processes, 2 different sets of KPIs. When we talk about looking at them individually and collectively, what I'm referring to, and I hope you do this, and it goes by a variety of names. Most people do this meeting in the morning. Some try to do it in the evening. Either way, I always ran them in the morning, but these are save a deal meetings or create a deal meetings or dig meetings or hot desk meetings, or you guys can call them whatever you want, but on a daily basis, okay, every day you're open. If you're 7 days a week, you do this meeting 7 days a week. I need to pull together the brightest minds that I have in my sales department, my sales leadership team. I want the owner, if available. I want the general manager. I want sales managers. I want finance managers. I want everybody to come together every morning and look at what happened yesterday and what are we working on today. I have to review all the pieces of traffic log. Okay? Not just the traffic log, right? Who came in? What do we have for appointments? What was our phone activity look like? Did I have appointments that didn't show? Did we make some sales? Did we take some trade-ins? Do I have used inventory that's coming out of the service department that's now available to sell? Okay. Do I have deals that are in float? Right? I closed it, but I don't have anybody to buy the paper yet. There's all kinds of things we want to talk about. But the ultimate goal of that meeting is how do we move every single prospect one step further? And somebody on the sales management team takes accountability for every one of these potential customers and potential sales. Okay. If I don't have digital information broken out, it's hard to have that focused meeting on there. And what we know, 90% of your customers go online before they ever come into your store and need to review what's happening, right? We're paying money to drive them to the website. Let's understand what's happening. Move them one step further there. Okay. So that's a bit on traffic log. There's another slide later in the presentation that gives you a little more detail on what we can do with the data that comes out of the log. The first thing we have to do is we have to collect the data, right? I need accurate and I need timely, easily accessible data inside both these logs. So where we're going to go now is we're going to look at the digital sales process, right? Because in each of the 3 phases of the digital sales process, which you'll see here in a second, inside of those phases are where we're going to extract these KPIs that we're looking at on the side of the screen right now. Okay, so Taylor, let's move into that digital overview slide, and we'll do a quick run there. Thank you. Essentially, 3 basic buckets, if you will, or 3 phases from lead generation to lead follow-up to lead conversion. And inside of phase 1, lead generation, okay, we're going to capture 2 pieces of information for that traffic log. Okay, and we're going to record it. I need to know my website traffic. Okay, you're going to get that from your website. You can see the back side of your website. You can see how many website visitors you have at any given time through that process. If you don't understand how to do that, reach out to this website provider, and they will walk you through how to garner that information on a daily basis. So I need to know how much website traffic I have, okay? And I need to understand what percentage of that traffic actually becomes a lead, okay? So a couple considerations. Your website's your digital showroom. Digital showroom. Somebody raises their hand, becomes a lead. They've walked through the digital front door of the dealership. We can start to work with them. But I would challenge you to at least go back and think about, do you apply the same level of scrutiny to your website as you do your physical showroom? Just want you to think on that for a minute. I know we work hard in the showroom, right? We clean them every day. We've got cleaning companies. We got the bikes lined up. We're always straightening the bikes. We're always shining up the bikes. We've got great signage. All that stuff's there. We've got welcome boards. We've got directional signage in the dealership. We want it to look great. There's a vibe. We've got music going. People are in uniform, all that stuff. Does it feel the same way on your website? Is the digital showroom the same way? Because it should really reflect, in terms of tone and culture and energy and ease of use, it should reflect exactly what happens in your physical showroom. Okay? So we got to make it great, because I want people to hang out there, and I want them to be there long enough to raise their hand. Okay? When I say raise their hand, a website visit is valuable because it gets exposure to your store, to your brand, to your product, and it may elicit a phone call or a visit. That's great. But if a customer that's there, if a website visitor doesn't give us some information through a variety of lead capture tools, okay, credit app, request a quote, value my trade, sign up for a newsletter, whatever you want on there. If you don't have those lead capture tools that are easily accessible, easy to find, and easy to use, then we just end up with a bunch of traffic. Okay, I want a lot of that traffic to raise their hand. I want to use one of those lead capture tools to give us some information. I need a name, I need a phone number, I need an email address, something. Because once that happens, it's not a site visit now. Now it's a lead. Okay, so inside of that first one, website traffic and lead capture. How many leads? All right, we'll talk about lead capture tools and some of the measurement side of that a bit later. But that's what we're doing in phase one right there. Assuming we get the leads, okay, now we move into phase two. Okay, so this is lead follow-up, or we could also call this lead nurturing, because it's going to take a while sometimes inside this space to move this customer again. We got to move them along. And in here, I want to figure out how many of these leads do we get in touch with. I want to find out how many appointments get set. Okay. And then when we move into lead conversion, we're going to see how many of those appointments get kept and what we do with them. But inside the nurture piece of it, you got to think about it this way. This is your first opportunity to start to influence this customer's journey with you and your brand. They may have never been in the store. This may be the first visit to the website. So how do we engage with them? How quickly do we respond, right? We have always operated on speed to lead philosophy. Whoever gets to the lead first, whoever gets there the best, and whoever stays longest will earn the appointment. Okay? So it's our opportunity to influence that customer, but we got to get there. We got to get there quickly. So speed to lead's a big one. The other thing that's amazing, call out one of the points on there. It takes 7 to 15 touches to get the customer to respond. And you're going to sit there and go, well, wait a minute. Why? They just raised their hand, right? Why do I have to reach out to them 7, 8, 12 times to get them to actually engage in a discussion? For a variety of reasons. One, maybe we don't follow up quickly enough. Okay? If a customer is there and they raise their hand on your website and it takes us an hour or 2 hours, 4 hours, or 24 hours to get back to them, they may have gone cold. They may be engaged with somebody that responded to their lead faster, because I guarantee you they didn't just put out a lead on your website. They went to your competitor's website as well. Okay? Customers like to do this digitally because they're in control, right? I can go online and I can raise my hand and become a lead at my leisure when it's convenient for me. I can do it at home, I can do it at work, I can do it on vacation, and then I'm going to get back to you when it's convenient for me again. So the takeaway here, I really want you to think about, if you have salespeople that are handling your digital leads, even sales managers who have other jobs, right? They have other functions in the store. They have other duties. I can almost guarantee you, and this is from many, many, many years of running salespeople, Salespeople aren't going to try 7, 8, 12, 15 times to get the customer engaged. Right? You hand them a lead, they try once. If nothing happens, if they're great and you're on them, they might try again. But that's about where it goes. They're not going the distance to engage that customer. And here's what's even tougher. Even if we do get that customer to engage, okay, say it takes us 8 times to finally get the customer in a conversation, in a dialogue, it's going to take me another 8, 12, 14 engagements with that customer before we actually can get an appointment set. Salespeople are not doing that. They're just not. And we'll see some of the differences when we get into these potential exercises in a minute. But influencing the journey, right? We have to think about this nurturing phase, this follow-up phase, the way we talk about the sales process on the floor, right? I need to greet a customer. I need to talk about people before I talk about product. I need to try to establish some value in myself and in the dealership. I need to create a relationship on something that isn't about business initially, right? We have to go through those things just like we do in the sales on the floor, right? And we also have to remember, for most of us, depending on the segment of which you're in, right, we're all talking about negotiable price vehicle business here, automotive, RV, marine, power sports, any of those things. Other than automotive and other than some work in like agriculture work or police departments maybe that need motorcycles or other than that, we sell want-based product. This is not a need-based industry. There's no logical reason for people to buy what we have. So we have to create an emotional attachment, okay, a personal connection online with these folks. So that's what we're doing in the nurture phase, right? Assuming we do that really, really well, we end up with a set appointment. Okay, so now I see website traffic, I see number of leads, I see contact information, and I see set appointments. Next phase we're going to roll to is lead conversion. Okay, if a set appointment doesn't show, the follow-up responsibility stays with the internet agent or the BDC agent or whoever, whatever your terminology is for that position inside your business. Unkept appointments stay the responsibility of the digital department. A shown appointment then becomes the responsibility of the sales department on the floor. I use those things very distinctly, right? Because in my perfect world, we have people that are dedicated to online sales and interacting with this, right? Phase 1 and phase 2. And then I have a physical traffic sales department inside the store that's going to handle those appointments. So kept appointments and deliveries, right? Our ultimate conversion. So we talk about retail readiness here, and there's 2 points I really to make here, I think. You have to imagine everything that's happened in the lead follow-up, okay, phase 2. This is all between the customer and a BDC agent. We call them that way, right? So there's trust that's been built up. They have an understanding of each other. There's all kinds of information that's going back and forth about who they are, and how long they've owned the product, and what they'd like different, and what else they had, if they've been in or who do they ride with, when do they ride, when do they go to the lake, wherever they're going, we understand all that information. Okay? And there's a level of trust between the BDC agent and the customer at that point. Now, when we set the appointment, and again, my perfect world, that appointment is not going to be with the BDC agent at all. Okay, so I use some of the people on the screen. Taylor and I have been talking. I'm the BDC agent. Taylor's the customer. We've talked online over the phone a bit, and now she has an appointment at 2:15 on Friday, and her appointment is with Aaron Barney. She doesn't know Aaron Barney. Aaron Barney doesn't know Taylor at all. Okay, so in order for this appointment to go well, I have to move information and trust from the digital space to the physical space. Oh, how do I do that? Okay, well, the trust part comes as soon as that appointment, as soon as I tell Taylor, yep, 2:15 on Friday, and just so you know, your appointment's with Aaron Barney. Aaron's been with us a long time. It's great. You're going to love him, blah, 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 whatever. He's going to call you to confirm the appointment and introduce himself. We get done. Aaron calls. Hi, Taylor. This is Aaron. I've looked at all the information. Okay, now, here's the transfer of information. Aaron's got to go in and see all the notes. Okay? If you're using LeadHelm, they're all there. There's conversation history. You can see everything. If not, you're recording it hopefully somewhere, but every dialogue that they've had, Aaron needs to understand. Like, what's Taylor's hot button that caused her to set the appointment? Is it trade? Is it availability? Is it color? Is it price? I don't know. Could be any number of things. Interest rate, down payment money, I don't know. All the different reasons that people decide that they're ready to do something. He needs to know that. Okay, so we have to have a system that allows that. And if we do it well, if Aaron's reviewed all that information and he makes that phone call to Taylor, introduces himself, confirms the appointment, talks about what he understands, lets her know where she should park when she comes to the store. Now she feels really comfortable of what's happened. Oh, I feel good. Okay. Not John. I'm not working with him anymore, but I like Aaron. We got a good conversation. Then she shows up, right? Now we got another opportunity to do great things. What if we got her vehicle right out front, detailed, gassed up, ready to go with her name on it, right? So now she's like, okay, they're ready for me. And then we've got a nice VIP appointment board inside that welcomes Taylor for an appointment at 2:15 on Friday with Aaron Barney. And then he's there. He understands everything that's happened, and they can pick up the process right where it left off, right? Wherever the process finished, however far we got in the digital space, we pick up now in the physical space. And for Taylor, that is an unbelievable experience because she got through a lot of the nitty gritty heavy lifting on the customer's part in the convenience of her living room. Okay. That's when it works well. If we don't do those things, if we don't transfer information, we don't transfer trust, we don't reconfirm the appointment, she shows up, Aaron's not there. I don't know if he has an appointment. Yep, I guess so. Who are you, Taylor? Great. What are you in here for? And this and that. Everything we did falls apart, right? The bottom just falls out of all the great work we just did. So we have to have this information. We have to do those things. Because again, ultimately, if we do it well, we sell the vehicle and Taylor has a great experience and tells all her friends and we continue to pull that off. So inside of those three pieces, okay, those three phases, we're going to capture all the KPIs that we need to ultimately fill in the digital traffic log. All right? Okay. That's where we are with that. Let's move and look at some actual data on what we're going to call current state versus ideal state. Okay. And current state, if you want to flip that slide, Tim, I can talk about that. Thank you. So current state is just based on what we've learned in the digital lead performance business and the LeadHelm business, and running our own internet sales departments for our dealerships, different consulting work that we've done for dealerships and dealer groups and whatnot. We basically see the current state as you see right there, right? On average, dealers get about 150 leads a month. They set appointments with 20 of those. 20% of those are set. Of those, about 45% are kept, and of those, about 25% are delivered. We'll put some actual numbers to these here in a second. So that's a typical current state dealer. What does current state mean? Well, they may not have anybody dedicated to digital lead follow-up. Okay, probably not using a digital traffic log. We're not leveraging a tool like LeadHelm, or we're not making use of a CRM or an Excel spreadsheet or whatnot. We're not getting the right data. We're not doing a save a deal meeting. We don't have the intensity level on the digital piece, but customers go to the website. We do a reasonable job and we're going to deliver some portion of that business instead. The ideal state, totally different, right? You can see the numbers, same leads. Okay. To move from current to ideal, these dealers are not spending more money to drive more traffic. They still have the same number of leads. They're just doing a better job with the leads they have than the current state dealer. And everything the current state dealer isn't doing, the ideal state dealer is. I've got dedicated people. I've got training. I'm using a traffic log. I've got a technology system that allows me to input timely, accurate data that's also easily accessible in the form of a dashboard. Believe in the digital sales process. And we do that, and now we set 40% of the appointments on the 150, right? 70% of those are capped because there's no value built because we understand the process in phase 2 right there, okay? And we deliver 30% of those things. Okay? That's a big difference. And you don't even see any numbers on that yet, but that is a big, big, big difference. And now we're going to go to the exercise portion of this. So once you flip that slide, Taylor, and everybody should have gotten an email with a workbook. And there's 2 pieces to the workbook. There's this digital opportunity scorecard, and the second piece inside the different tab, 2 tabs at the bottom of that Excel workbook. One is this, and the other one is the traffic log. We're going to work with this one first. Okay. If you guys have it pulled up and you're going to work on it, you're going to just work on that one thing. I'm going to take you through a variety of slides that are just blow up the different pieces of what you're seeing on your screen right now. Okay. And I want you to fill some of this in because I want to see on a monthly and annual basis, how much business are we talking about if we can move, not can we, as we move from current to ideal. Let's look at that. Let's go one more slide, Taylor. So the first thing, this is a blow up of the the box that's on the far left of your worksheet. There, your workbook. And I'm going to use some information from our current state, right? These are the percentages that we just showed. You can see that on the screen. 150 leads, 30 set appointments, 13 kept, and 3 delivered. Okay. Normally on the right, you'd see 20, 45, and 25, but obviously the rounding and so forth, these are the percentages that result from this data. What I'd like you to do is, if you have this information, put it in those yellow boxes on your worksheet that you have right now, your actual information. If you know your leads, set, kept, and delivered, plug it in and you'll see the percentages to the right. Just a quick point here. If you know the information, excellent. Let's plug it in. If not, use this, right? 30, 13, and 3. But ask yourself, what if I don't know this information? If I'm a dealer, or general manager, sales manager, and I have financial decisions to be made, there's financial implications on this, right? Whether it's revenue coming from sales that we make, whether it's lost revenue from sales we don't make, we're spending money to drive people to our website, we're spending money on lead capture tools. Okay? If it were me, I'd want to know everything that's happening with that stuff. I would know this information. So I'm going to implore you and encourage you, if you don't have this, you need to start tracking this. Critical. All right. So plug those things in. And then we're going to go to the next slide and we'll start to see how these comparisons come together. Okay. So for us, current state, same 150 leads between current and ideal. Our percentages change. So I move from 30 set to 60 set. I move from 13 kept to 42 kept. And I move from 3 delivered to 12.6, call it 13. Okay. Got a 10 unit delta there in a month on that piece. So take a minute, run through that, see what your difference column looks like. And I sit here just at first glance and be like, man, if I could pick up 10 incremental sales a month, it's 120 sales a year. That'd probably be good for my bottom line. That'd be good for my business. I know business is a little tougher today than it's been the last few years. We talked about the cost per lead. Okay. Let's maximize that. 120. I'm not saying these are sales that were going to happen anyway. We're just going to recategorize these as digital now. I'm saying this is incremental business. 120 extra units. I would assume everybody on the phone would say, yeah, that'd be good for me, right? Most of you can get paid on this stuff. So good thing. I know we're for profit, all of us. So let's make some. Let's see what it looks like here. Let's actually put some dollars. Okay. So now you've got a difference number, right? 10 units. The next number I need you to really think about here is average gross profit. So front end and back end combined, right? What do we make on average on the vehicle themselves? And what do we make in F&I? Plug it in, right? We've got different segments of business for this number, right? I know some marine dealers that this is a really, really, really huge number. Okay. Which is great. Plug in what you have there. Okay. We use $5,000 on here. 35 on the front, 15 on the back, 4 on the front, 1 on the back, 3 on the front, 2 on the back. However you want to get there, we use $5,000. So plug yours in and you should start to get a reading like this. I got 9.6 more units per month. That gives me 115.2 for the year. Okay. So if it was 10, it'd be 120. 5,000 each gives me $576,000. Incremental, additional growth. That's not revenue, that's gross profit. That's gross profit. We did this exercise a month or so ago. We had one of the dealers on there. It was $1.3 million on potential. What if you only got half of that, right? What if you only picked up 650 grand in GP? Goes a long way. So I don't know what your numbers look like. If anyone wants to put it in the chat, that's great. But I think the question you really that needs to be answered right here is it a number that you're interested in? Right? Is it worth it? Because I will tell you it's more work. Right? What we're talking about is more work than not doing this. There's no question about that. There's staffing, there's training, there's observation, there's tools, there's commitment. All of that stuff is more work, but is it worth it? Because what I'll tell you, I mentioned this earlier, that 576 grand of additional GP is going to go to somebody. These customers are going to buy vehicles. You just have to decide if you want the money or if you want your competitor to have the money. Totally your call. If it were me, give me the money. Right? If you're showing me a pathway and some tools and support and training that can help me get there, I want to go do that. If not, that's your call, right? Golden rule. You're gold, you make the rule, but I'm going after the business on that. So just think about that. Maybe that's one of your little takeaways, that little piece of it. How do I go get that money? Okay. Oh, I got to take a drink of water after that one. Made all that money. Okay. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about why traffic alarms, right? I covered a fair bit of it, but purpose. And this could be, look, you could take digital out of this title of this purpose of a traffic log, and it would read almost identically. But Steve, we're talking digitally specific today. We have it that way. We talked about clarity of data, objective data. Again, I can't make good decisions without good objective data, so I have to have that. Accountability. Okay. When I talked about that create a deal meeting, it is the primary component of the chain of accountability in the sales department. As a general manager and owner, I want to know that my sales manager, my internet manager, my GSM, whoever you want to plug into that role, I want to know that they know what's happening with everything activity-wise, not only the staff, but from a customer standpoint. So this is an accountability tool. Have to have that. Measures opportunity, right? We said that. How many people came in and what did we do with them? And we talk about this. I make this reference a lot. It's actually Sam Dantzler uses this one at my buddy at Garage Composites over there regularly. It's like, look, opportunity. If we don't keep score on this stuff, why play the game, right? If they didn't keep score in sports, nobody would watch. Nobody would watch. Maybe just for a minute because it's kind of fun, but after that, you're like, man, gotta keep score, right? Opportunity. Let's keep score of that. We glean operational insights from this as well. Okay. In addition, right? Am I staffed right? Where am I off? Is it set appointments? Is it kept appointments? Am I not getting enough leads for the traffic that I have? All those things are cluing you in. That x-ray is showing you where you need to go look operationally if you're not achieving what you want, or if you are achieving great results from a KPI and a statistical standpoint. How do I funnel more money in to drive more leads because I know I'm capitalizing on that business already? I want to know that information. Coaching and training, right? We train the team. We coach the individual. Say that again. You train the group. You coach the individual. Everybody on the team has different strengths and weaknesses. I need to know what they are, and I get that insight from a traffic law. I need that. Talk about staffing, right? We looked at response times. Do I have enough bodies to handle the traffic that we have? Are they the right bodies? Are they performing? Do I have a difference in performance if I've got two people in this role? There's so much stuff that comes out of this thing. Digital marketing ROI. Again, you're spending money to drive the traffic. Are they becoming leads, and are we doing the right things with the leads? Next layer down from that is all these lead capture tools, right? Yes, you pay money to have a website, and you pay money in general, right, through SEM work to drive traffic to the website. Maybe you do a great job in SEO as well to drive traffic organically, but we're spending time and energy to drive traffic to the website. We're also paying money for these lead capture, right? You have a chat function on your website, that costs money. You got the ability for a customer to fill out a credit app on your website, that costs money. We need one OEM leads, whatever the case is, we're spending money. I guarantee you this, different leads from different lead capture tools perform very differently. I want to know the ROI on every lead capture tool so I can figure out objectively, right, scientifically, where can I spend my money? Should I spend my money, or where should I pull back? Right? We can see that. I'll show you that. I got only one LeadHelm slide. It's a KPI dashboard, and you'll see how this falls right in there. And again, the ultimate goal here: how do we sell more? Right? How do we sell more vehicles, and not just sell more vehicles. I want to sell them with a great customer experience, retail excellence that we discussed earlier. So, all right, that's the purpose. Let's jump to the actual digital traffic log now. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the segments here, and then we're going to go back into the other tab on your workbook, and we'll actually go through and we'll start filling these out. Okay, so essentially on here, four main buckets, six main buckets. Annual sales targets across the top, right? What are we going to sell by month for the entire dealership? Vehicle sales, okay? That would be digital sales and in-store for traffic sales. What are we going to do by month? Right? We fill that in. It gives us a total. And then I want to start to look at what percentage of that business should come out of digital. Okay, so if you're going to sell 1,000 units a month, you tell me that 20% are going to come from digital. Okay, your digital department needs to produce 200 vehicle sales for the year to keep the overall dealership on pace, to carry their fair share. Okay, to do that, right? What kind of appointment setting do I need? Set, kept, delivery targets. I also want to be able to look at what portion of my website traffic is going to, do I have enough website traffic to produce the number of leads that we need? So we can put some variable numbers in there. Do you convert 1% of your traffic to leads? 2%? 3%? See the average around 1.5% with a target of 3. You'll see how those pieces work in a bit. So I have that piece. And once you'll see it in the interactive side, once we plug in some of these numbers, that whole section, number 2 on here, it will populate once we have section 1 filled out. And you'll see that shortly. Then I've got section 3 on there. This is where you're going to go through and enter your information on a daily basis. Right? What was my website traffic today? How many leads did I get? How many appointments were set? How many were kept? And did we sell? As we plug that in every single day, we end up in section 4 down there where we have monthly trending. Okay? What are we doing? So we're now the 21st today. So we're 20 days into the month. What have we done? And what's our trend? What's our projected finish for the month? And where does it fall relative to our targets? And if we're not hitting on all cylinders in every one of those KPI categories, I want to see, am I overperforming or underperforming in those pieces? So again, I know where to focus my attention on those pieces. Section 5, just want to make sure we update this, right? How many days in the month and how many days are we through the month? So right now, you'd say we're the 20 days through the month and 30 days has June, right? So we have 30 days total. I do a little rhyme in my head. So have that on there. I just make sure the trending reports. And at the bottom, there's a QR code, okay? Because you're going to leave with a traffic log, whether you fill it out or not while we're on the call today, or whether you take it and fill it out at any point along the way. If you need any help with it, you need any extra information, just scan the QR code. You will be advised that that's happened, and somebody from the team will reach out and get in touch with you and help you move that along a little bit. So those are the pieces and parts of that. So I'm gonna stop just for a second and ask if there are specific questions on the layout of the traffic log before we actually go in and fill one out. If anybody's got one, Taylor or Christy, if there's one that's specific to that, let's hit it. If not, we'll wait till the end.
If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Christy and I will monitor those. And while we're letting some people put some questions here in the chat, do we have anybody that would like to build their digital traffic log live? Let us know in the chat, and we will bring you online.
Yes, if you've got enough data, right, at least from a unit volume standpoint, projections, either what you've done so far for 2023 and what you're showing for monthly objectives, July through end of the year. If you've got that and you want to play along, we'll use your numbers. Happy to build them right here, and then your homework's done. If not, we have some data that we can use as well. So You just let me know.
Give it just a moment. Does anybody want to do one live? Oh, we've got Cody. Cody, why don't we go ahead and bring you online and let's use your annual sales targets to build, okay? So give me one moment, Cody, and let me bring you up online. There we go. If you can just unmute yourself and turn on your video. There we go. And you got a fancy LeadHelm background for becoming a panelist. Everybody give Cody some love. Awesome.
Sure. Don't make it. It's like Jimmy Neutron going on over here.
It's weird. These virtual backgrounds also put a kind of a funky halo around you. I know too. I get the same thing.
Great. So John, we've got Cody up and ready. And we also have the traffic log. So I'll input the numbers while you coach us through.
All right. So this, if you guys want to play along with this, right? So if you are working inside of your workbook on the digital traffic log tab, if you want to populate this as we go through, feel free. If you just want to make notes and do it after the call, that's fine too. But we're going to start off at the very top, annual sales target. So Cody, do you have that by month?
I do.
Let's let it rip, and Taylor will just plug these in.
Okay, total for the year, 852. January, 37. February, 58. March, 107. April, 114. May, 106. June, 110. July, 75. August, 70. September, 60. October, 48. November, 39. December, 30.
Excellent. Okay. And you can, those of you that are watching this, you saw a lot get populated right there. So the annual targets went in. Taylor put them in. You can see the digital sales targets, right? So rows 16 through 20 also populated, but it populated because we have some percentages in for digital sales target, set, kept, delivered, and website traffic. Okay, so let's play with these a little bit. You can see how the digital sales target area changes. Again, 16 through 20 will change if we change these. So Cody, do you have, what percentage of your 854 do you feel should come through digital? 40. All right. Okay, so we just put that back to 30 for a sec, Taylor, please. Okay, so we just went from the digital target of 256 for the year, just based on that percentage right there. And if we jump up to 40%, obviously that number is going to change and everything else changes with it. Okay. So now, Cody, you're after 342 units for the year. And what's your set target?
A set target is set for 40%.
All right. So that one's going to stay the same. Again, it's dynamic. So if we change that, we would see the set goal change in every month and for the year. Okay. All right, Cody. So you're 40 there. And are you at 70 for kept?
You got it.
70 kept. So you're going right for the benchmarks. That's awesome. 30 conversion?
Yes, sir.
And what about your traffic? And just this is the ratio, if you will, of website visits to leads. Okay, so again, you can put whatever number you want in here with a target of 3%. That's saying 3% of your website visits actually are hand raisers, give us information, we can reach out and talk to them. So, Cody, are you aggressive at 3 like that? Yep.
We are extremely aggressive when it comes to our digital showroom and our digital world here at Thunderbird in Albuquerque.
Yep. All right. So you're 3% right there. So what this shows you, right, is now you can see if you were to set this at the beginning of the year, okay, when you're in your budgeting for the coming year, you would see by month everything that needs to happen inside the digital space from the KPI standpoint to deliver the percentage of vehicles that are allocated toward the digital department. Okay. I don't know that most of you have a target that is that detailed right now. And again, if people don't know where they're going, they think they're already there sometimes, right? So we got to tell them where they need to go at that point. All right. The next thing that happens, and you can see by month, okay, so we're in June, and we're going to start to use some June data. In June, based on this, they need to have, that dealership needs to have 17,460 website visitors. 3% of those are going to become leads, which becomes 524 leads. We should set 210 appointments. We should have 147 kept, and we should sell 44 units out of the digital space, 44 out of the 110 goal for the month. Okay. Awesome. All right, Cody, do you have, and you can see down on the right, we have days past 20, days in the month 30. So that's going to keep our trending reports in order, accurate. Do you have June to date through yesterday, Cody?
Yes.
What do you got?
Digital sales 20.
Yep.
Kept 37.
37.
Set 46.
6.
Lead volume 135.
And do you know traffic number?
Traffic number?
Website traffic.
Oh, yeah. About 13,500 for 1%. 3% is 45.
Okay. So that's actual performance. This would be something that you would go in and input every day. So at the end of today, as you're going, checking out, one thing I would do is I'd go back in and I'd update all those things. Maybe we sold another one today. We had 2 more kept appointments, whatever the stats are, continue to input those, because what we're starting to see is on the bottom left-hand corner. Now we're seeing this trending report. Okay. So you've got actual is what we just put in. 20 sold, 37 kept appointments, 40 set, 135 leads, 13.5 on website traffic. The performance column to the right, it's color coded. Those percentages are being compared against the targets that we put in on line 11. Okay. So you can see he's over. He's got good percentages on kept and sold. Okay. So what we're doing with the customer in terms of building value in the appointment, and what we're doing to transfer information and trust from digital to physical is working well, because we're getting a high degree of kept, and of those that are kept, we're getting a high conversion rate on those. Okay, so that part of the system is working really, really well. It's in green. Excellent. Right? We're going to look down a little bit. There's more information on another slide coming up, but where are we short? Right? Because if you say, boy, if I've got my sold goal is high right there, 54%, but my variance column to the far right shows me at this pace, at this trend, the digital department in that dealership is going to be 14 units shy of its goal. It's on pace to sell 30, needs to sell 44. What's happening? Well, we've got a lead volume situation. Okay, we have 13,500 leads or website visits, but we're only capturing 1% of the lead. Okay, and then once we capture that lead, we've got a little bit of room. Okay, we've got a 6 percentage point delta in our set goal of 40 and our actual of 34. Okay, so now again, Cody's thinking about this. His manager's thinking about this. General manager's thinking about this. Okay, what's happening, right? What's going on with my lead capture pieces? Do I have certain tools that aren't working? Do I need to do any type of redesign of my digital showroom that's there, right? Customers are getting there. I need to capture a higher percentage of those as a hand raiser. What do we do? Where do we go? A review of the lead capture tools. Okay, so that's one thing that you might look at. And then we start to talk about, okay, what's happening with the engagement with the customer? They raise their hand, and then we look at, okay, what's our response time? Are we getting to these leads quickly enough? And then we start to look at a conversation history, right? LeadHelm will track conversation history. What are Cody and the customer talking about? what are things that are said from Cody or said from the customer where we end up with a set appointment versus not a set appointment? Again, this is individual analysis because Cody can have some individual coaching on this. If he's got another one or two people in the dealership, they're going to have different statistical lines and they are going to get individualized coaching as well. Okay. But again, back to what we said at the beginning, if I don't have the data, I can't glean the insight. I can't make coaching and training decisions. Okay. I can't make the right decision on ad spends and lead capture tools. You can't understand if I'm falling down in phase 2 or phase 3 or phase 1 of the process. I just don't know. There's too much business at stake to operate blind on this stuff, guys, folks, gals, everybody out there. You have the ability, you have the tool to do this stuff. So, Cody, thank you very much for sharing that information. Right on. This is this is great. You're further along than most on this stuff. Let's go to the next slide, Taylor, because I think everybody, you guys, let me pause actually for a second on this. Any questions on the functionality of that traffic log, right? We did an overview of it, but then we actually show you how it actually filled in. It's fairly intuitive. And again, if you did the work right now, great. If you take that worksheet, that workbook, and you start to work on this afternoon, tomorrow, Friday, whatever the case is, the QR code is on there for a reason. If you get hung up, reach out. We will help you. Again, our goal, how do we make dealers better in the digital space, deliver more vehicles, and have a great customer experience to it. So if there's no questions on that, Taylor, let's look a little bit more at the data side of it, because we had a good opportunity going through Cody's trend report right there. Again, if I were at that store right now, I would be going to look at a couple things, right? I'm going to look at conversation histories, right? And focusing in on the setting of appointments and what's happening. And I'm also looking at website traffic relative to leads and particularly my lead capture tools and so forth. So at least I know where to go at that point. All right. Here's just a simple matrix, right? Website traffic. If I have a lot of traffic, right, my website traffic is high. Why does that happen? Okay. Well, obviously we've got consistent marketing and so forth that's happening. We're doing a good job at driving things, all outbound communications and so forth that we're doing from a marketing standpoint. Somehow we've always got a website in there embedded. We're pushing people to the site, pushing the site. Okay. We're not getting the website traffic. It's the opposite of that. I don't have consistent digital marketing. I don't have consistent messages, or it's limited. Don't know. Okay. But there's different reasons that happen. Lead generation. This is what we just saw with Cody, right? He's got good traffic, but we're not capturing a high enough percentage of that traffic to become a lead. Okay. So again, what's the digital showroom experience look like, and what does the lead capture side of it look like? And again, lead capture tools, I mean, you could have 10, 12, 14 different lead capture tools on this website. Again, the goal is to make it really easy for a customer to become a hand raiser. I just need them to give me a piece of information and indicate some level of interest in what we do. And then I've got a team dedicated and devoted to follow up with those folks. Okay. So if we're getting the right leads, I've got a great digital showroom experience. Again, I'm talking about pictures of bikes and vehicles and video. And again, video, right? People consume video. They want to know that. You should have, oh gosh, now you're talking about website stuff, right? You pay money to drive people to your website. We talk about how you pay for AdWords and you drive people to the website on that stuff, okay? Think about what's the number one busiest website in the world? Google. Okay, number one. What's second? I can't see if anybody's actually answering these or not, but maybe. The second one is YouTube. Who owns YouTube? Google. And when you want to be search friendly, embed YouTube videos onto your website with all of your product on there. Okay. It's just going to get more visits. That's organic visits. And then the video is so compelling, they're going to say, oh man, I got a question about that one. What about this? I'd like to see that person, right? Whatever. That's effective lead capture at that point. If we don't do that stuff, then We have inconsistent showroom experience, lead capture tools either are hard to find, non-existent, whatever the case is, or we're spending money on the wrong tools. Let's not do that. Appointment setting. Okay. If we're setting a good number of appointments, it typically means we have really fast response time. Get speed to lead. Get there first. Start to influence that customer's journey early. Do it often and own that relationship. They won't go anywhere else if you own the relationship right up front. But we got to get there first. Consistent follow-up. 7 to 15 times before they engage, and another 8 to 12 times after they engage before we get a set appointment. Are you staying with it long enough? Okay. What's the right cadence? What's the right activity? What are we saying? Right? This is coaching and training. Word tracks. How do we overcome objections? They have the same objections online. What's your best out the door price? I can find it for less. Yada, yada, yada. Same stuff. We have to train our BDC agents the same way. Overcome objections, build relationships, create value. That becomes an appointment. So high set rate, we're doing these things really well. Low set rate, again, the opposite. Takes us a long time to get back to them. Somebody else responded before you did. We both spent the same money probably to drive that lead to the website. Somebody responded first, and now they're influencing the customer journey. They're building a relationship. We waited too long, okay? Or we don't follow up long enough. We said that at the beginning, right? If salespeople are doing this again, I'm not bashing salespeople. I love salespeople. They are part of the lifeblood of this business. I get that. But they are immediate gratification people for the most part, and that's okay. I want them taking care of customers on the floor. I want them doing their follow-up that they have. I want them prospecting. That's what I want them to do. They should either be making phone calls trying to find business to do, they should be doing a deal, or they should be in training, right? And if they're not doing one of those three things, they need to ask themselves, what are you doing here right now? But this is not what they're great at. Okay, set appointment or kept appointments. Obviously, consistent follow-up, confirmations of those appointments, particularly the transfer of trust side of it, or they need to, I had an unkept, but we've got to go back, re-engage, reset, and so forth. The other thing here, two things that are critical right here. We have to create value in the appointment. Why is it great? Why is it necessary to come into the store? Boy, I need you to sit on this thing or sit in it. I really need you to take a test ride on this. I've got to see your trade, right? I know it's probably worth even more than you think it is, but I need you to come in here to do that. We need to build value in that appointment, okay? And we need to create a sense of urgency, okay? Urgency. And urgency is done a few ways, right? We can use the scarcity side, right? The law of scarcity is a big one. It's the last one and they're going fast. Could be, right? COVID and supply chain constraints created urgency for us for the last 3 years. We have to artificially create urgency ourselves right now. I'm not saying we lie to customers, never lie to customers, but we only have a few of these and it's high interest, it's a high demand product right now. I'd encourage you to get here sooner than later. I don't want you to lose out on this boat of your dreams at all, ever. Right? That, and there's a FOMO piece, right? Fear of missing out. Think about one more week without you being able to go to the lake without your own jet ski, right? No, you're not going to be able to go off-roading with the gang again this weekend. Ooh, man. Let me be the one to help you, right? Let me be the one to take you off the shopper list and on the user list. Let me be the guy. Somehow urgency and value helps us get kept appointments. On the sales side, we talked about the VIP experience, okay? We have to have effective transfer of information, transfer of trust. We have to be poised and ready to welcome that appointment with open arms and being fully informed and educated and aware of where they are and what excites them and where we need to go next with them. We do that, it's great. We don't do that, bad experience. They feel like we wasted their time if we don't do a good job on this piece of it. So those are some of the pieces that happen. Just again, I have the data to take these kind of pieces. So coaching, training, staffing, ROI, operational insights. There's a lot that's there. All right. So we've covered quite a bit there, right? We talked about traffic logs, plural. We talked about digital sales process. We talked about a potential exercise. We covered the traffic log on that piece of it. So now the real issue, and we're gonna hit Q&A here in a minute, but what do you do? What do you do now? Right, so you can hit that next slide. I said this earlier. You can do nothing, right? You can just say, "Yep, everything's fine," and I don't want that $576,000. I'm happy just doing things the way we're doing. That's okay. I say that tongue in cheek, obviously, and I don't ever mean to sound belittling or demeaning on these things. But I mean, again, to me, it's if opportunity's out there. Let's go see if we can get it. I hope you're thinking the same way. So do nothing. Hopefully, that's not really an option for you. Number two, let's go. You're going to go it alone. Yep, I understand. I got the digital sales process. You've given me the digital traffic log. I see the potential. I'm going to go work with this myself. And you know what? More power to you if you want to do that. But I would ask you to ask a serious question of yourself, right? Self-reflection, introspection, in the mirror. What's your track record of implementation and execution of a new idea, process, or system historically? If it's really good, congratulations. You are rare. Most of us struggle with implementation. It'll go in, but it doesn't stick. Okay? So I want you to think about it. If you're really good at it, great. If you're not, then actually option 3, leverage a proven solution, which is digital traffic log, LeadHelm. And the other thing about LeadHelm that I haven't talked about yet, there's an entire Helm Academy. There's an entire training arm of LeadHelm that's available only to clients. Okay, so this is not, hey, sign up for the software and we just turn you loose, right? Because if you just get software and you don't use it, it's not effective. You're going to give it back, right? You're going to quit. So we are invested in client success. Use the platform. Be successful with the platform. There's training from Helm Academy every week, in addition to a complete client success team that we have there. So the proven solution, really, here's the one slide, right? This is not a product demo, and I'm not gonna belabor this, but this one screen is critical. Everything we've talked about from a KPI standpoint and actual response time and some additional activity things are included on this one dashboard screen. Okay, and we can see this at the user level. I can see it at a department level. If you've got multiple stores, I can see this at the enterprise level. So you can drill down as deep as you want into the minutia of this thing. But it gives us leads, set appointment a percentage, kept in a percentage, and deliveries or conversions at a percentage. Those are some of the KPIs we looked at. Activity reporting. Again, this is an accountability piece. I want to know what my BDC agents are doing. So this is all, how many leads have you touched? How many calls and text messages have gone inbound and outbound? I want to see that, because this is not a, hey, do some activity, BDC agent, and then go over and input the data somewhere. They are functioning. BDC agents are functioning inside of LeadHelm. So their communications are inside of LeadHelm. When they claim a lead and they do any follow-up activity, it's inside the system. So we're capturing the data just by a product of doing business in there. It's awesome. That's how we get real response time in there. Okay. When is it? Actual response time. And then we measure less than 30 minutes, 31 to 60, and over 60 minutes on those response times. I want to see that, right? What if response times start to go higher? Is it because I'm understaffed? Did I get lazy? Do we get distracted? I don't know. Again, sometimes data doesn't give us answers, but it tells us what questions to ask. And that's infinitely valuable at that point. And the last little bit on here, this lead source reporting. This is what I talked about. Okay, so you can see on there, Facebook, website provider, credit app, trade cycle. Those are just some of the ones that I can read on the screen right there. We're seeing the number of leads by each lead source, how many appointments are set, kept, and delivered by lead source. So again, if I'm the one that's writing the check for these lead sources, I want this information. I'm going to funnel the money to the lead sources that produce the best results, and I'm going to pull back on those that don't. Okay? Again, just trying to make smart business with data that's available on a tool that's really pretty cool and fairly unique there. So that's the one screen on there. So I'm going to pause and see if we have questions And then I got one final wrap up slide.
So John, we have one here in the chat that says, what percent are typical for appointments versus shows versus sold? We have certainly seen these numbers change since COVID. So the question is, what percent are typical for appointments versus shows versus sold?
So I think that's a great question. And I think that the best data that we can use is the current state data, right? Because again, that's what we see when we go, when a dealer signs up, right? We do a lot of digging into where they currently are before we start building out some of the training and so forth that goes with the service. So, right now we're seeing on average 20% of the leads, okay, are turning into set appointments. 20% set. Of those, 45% are kept, and of those, 25% are delivered. Okay, and our goal is how do we move from that 20, 45, 20 current state to 40% set, 70% kept, 30% delivered to that ideal state. That's where we see that 10 unit delta that we had in the example. But that's a great question. Great question.
Great. If anybody has any other questions, let us know. Well, we got to thank you, John, for that response. So thank you. We've got another one that says great information. So thank you guys for all the comments that you're dropping in here. Are there any other questions before we move on to the next slide?
Okay. All right. This is another, what do we do next, right? There's a couple easy things to do, okay? If you were just so enamored with the information today, if you like what you saw on the traffic log, understanding that it's part and parcel of LeadHelm and you want to get on board and you want to accelerate that move from current to ideal, you can scan the QR code on the left and we will start you signed up right now. Right, we'll start your onboarding. We'll build out your LeadHelm dashboards with all your lead source information, website providers, so forth. We'll help you with your digital traffic log. You'll have available all of the Helm Academy training, and you will be off and running. So if you're ready to roll, we're ready for you. Scan the left one. If you want more information, nothing wrong with that. And more information really is, do you want a full VIP tour, full-blown demonstration of LeadHelm as a product and some more information about Helm Academy and so forth? Scan on the right, and that will get you headed toward somebody in that group, and we'll make sure that we get you set up for a demo and take you down that path. I think it's just, again, I said at the very beginning, I get excited about these things when we get to talk about opportunity on this. And I think you can see that if we have 90% of our business goes online first, then we need to really be tuned into that. Maybe we can pick up an extra 120 units a month. But again, what if we only got half of those? What if we only picked up, 300 grand in additional GP? Those are all upside potential things. This is all opportunity. It's exciting. And I think what's amazing about this is it's all designed. We are dealers. We've been dealers, and we understand this business. It's a great tool to share. How do we sell more? How do we deliver a great customer experience? And look, I guarantee you one thing, this team will follow up, right? But even if you don't scan anything, there's going to be something that comes at you because this is a sales group. And just like you guys are sales folks. So, happy to answer questions. Love demos, love signups even better. But I would encourage you to act on one of these because somebody in your market is going to act. And there's a lot of business to be had. So thank you for your time. I enjoy it very much. Thanks for being here. And again, if you guys have any questions or any needs, find us on leadhelm.com or scan one of those QR codes somewhere and we will be right on top of it. So with that, have a great afternoon. Best of luck. Good selling. Finish the month strong. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.